Okay, so welcome everybody to our Write Your Story workshop. Before we get started, a few things I want to cover. If you are looking on your Zoom screen, please change the view to from gallery to speaker view, because that way when I do share my screen and share the slides, you'll be able to see it bigger. Now, you guys probably already all know this because you're Zoom experts, but I just wanted to point that out. And what I'm going to be doing is sharing a lot of information about story. But before we dive into story, we're going to be talking about some foundational elements that are super important to make sure the story we use is the right story and that we share it in the right way that gives our audience the right journey and the right outcome. And so writing our story isn't something that we can just say, all right, go do it, AI. We have to make sure we feed it the right information. And so the prompts that I've given you are going to be very detailed, and we may not get your story completely written today because, again, we have a lot to cover in 2 hours, but I'm going to make sure that I give you enough information so you get started and you know what to do to continue with the prompts and get your story put together. So does that sound fair to everybody? Okay, perfect. All right, well, people are still rolling in, but that's okay because you guys are on time, so we're going to get started. I'm going to start by sharing my screen, and I am using Canva for my slides today. And Canva isn't always, I've never used Canva before, so I'm asking if you guys see the slide that has the Write Your Story workshop image on it. Perfect. All right. Thanks, Gail,
Yes.
for the thumbs up. Yay. Okay. So we are in the right place. You are in the right place. And I am here with Brandi in the chat answering any questions you may have. And I'd love to just go ahead and dive in and get started. All right. You are here because I want to kind of get a feel for who's here and why they're joining us. And again, I said earlier, I'm not going to be looking at the chat. Brandi is, but I will be looking back later because I really want to know why everybody's here. So if you are in the position that you want to share your story, not for business, but just to help people, to leave an impact in their lives and to really leave a legacy and make sure that your story is written out there for eternity. So if you are looking to make an impact with your story, put in the chat team impact. And I know I have my mom's story written in one of our books. And you know what? My mom's not with us anymore, but her story is going to be out there for people to read, my kids to read, my grandkids, and future generations. So I believe our stories are so important. And the more we share them, the more we help other people. You may be here because you want to use your story in business. You want to share your story to make a profit. If you are in that team, put in the chat team profit. Because our story is really the connector. It's what really attracts our ideal clients, it connects with them, and allows them to stay loyal with us because they see us as people as opposed to just a product or service. However, if you're like me and you want to help make an impact and make money with your story, put in double team in the chat because you want to do both and you really want to make an impact, but you know, in order for us to keep making an impact, we need to make money doing what we're doing, and you would be on the double team. So, all right. We got a lot of things going in the chat. Hopefully that everything is getting answered by Brandi. I am going to now switch over and figure out how to go from my slide to the super prompts. Oh, nope, that is not how you do it. Escape. There we go. All right, the super prompts. So if you do not have the super prompts yet, make sure you check the chat. And Brandi's going to put that in the chat again for anybody that entered a little bit late. But this is what we're going to go through. This is our step-by-step process to get our story out in the world, but more importantly, making sure the foundation is set before we get started. So I'm going to go through a little bit of the basics. I know we had a couple questions about Chat GPT. And so we're going to be using a special edition GPT that I created. That is our BrandiBot GPT. Now, if you don't have the paid version, don't worry. The regular version is going to work just fine. But if you do have the paid version, I invite you to join me and Brandi using her GPT because it has a little bit more of the information in the back end. Because what I've done is I've written a few books and done a few presentations on this process. And I am able to actually import that data into that GPT. So it does have a little bit more knowledge to help you. But don't worry, if you have the free version, it's just fine. So I'm going to have Brandi. Brandi, can you please put both links into the chat? So that way, if somebody has the free version, they know which link or how to access Chat GPT. And if you've got the paid version, you can follow that one along. So before I move forward, does anybody have any questions about the paid version or free version? And if you do, feel free to just speak up. Okay, perfect. So a couple other things that I want to just kind of go through really quick. And hopefully you guys all looked at the super prompt document to see how it's going to work. So I'm not going to go in through all of these points, but what I want to do is start with step one. And step one is really designed to help you with your whole business when you use your AI assistant. And what it's doing is it's allowing you to give it information about your business, your ideal client, and your offer. So I've given you some pre-work to make sure you fill in this information so you have all of that already done ahead of time. Again, if you didn't do the pre-work, you can come back to this later, fill this information in because you're going to need to insert this information in a few steps down the road. So the next thing we're going to do is season your AI assistant. And so some of the information that you already filled out in step one, you could add here. And what we're going to do is go to our AI assistant, and I'm going to switch over to my Brandi Chat GPT. And I've already seasoned my assistant because I've been using it for a while. But if you haven't done this, and I know there's a few people here that are new to Chat GPT, very simply, all you need to do is go down to the bottom left where your name is, and you click it, and you're going to see one of the options that says custom instructions. So you click on custom instructions, and it's going to bring up a box like this. So I do know if you guys are working in Chat GPT and I'm doing the screen share, you can't see both of them. And so I feel free at this point during the presentation, if you don't see a box that allows you to put in custom instructions, let me know. Otherwise, what you do is you take the information that you've already compiled in step two, and I'm going to go to this prompt here where it says season your AI assistant, and you're going to insert that data into the custom instruction area, and then you're going to click save. Now, when you look at this custom instruction, you're going to see the first question or the first open box is, what would you like your Chat GPT assistant to know about you to provide you better results? That is where you're going to put in your company, your name, your niche, the solutions. You can put your website. You can put a lot of information in here, but keep in mind, you only have 1,500, I believe it's characters. So you have to keep it informational, yet fit into that 1,500 character guideline. And then the next box, which mine is already full, but yours should be empty, or you already may have something in there. But what I've done on the super prompt is I've provided you instructions that is designed for it to help you in a way that is going to get you great results with your business. And you're basically telling your AI assistant to act like a high-level marketer with a deep understanding of human psychology. You want it to help you with a story that will connect with your audience on a deep human level. And you want your story to attract your ideal clients, but keep in mind that you can help clients in different niches. So it's really about making sure right now, especially when we're working on our story, that you tell it what you want it to do in relationship to your story. Now, when you're done writing your story, you may want to go back and edit this custom instruction because your story is going to be done. But for now, it's going to be really helpful for you and get you a better result with your story creation if you give it these instructions. And then you can see down below, there is the last sentence. It says, please avoid the following terms. You will want to add in terms based on your industry that you don't want to use. Maybe terms that you think are overused or just aren't in alignment. And so if you don't have any, don't worry about it. I've given you a couple examples that you can use, the ones I've provided, or you can add in terms that are more relative to your business. And so once you add that information into ChatGPT, you just hit save and you're done. Now your assistant is seasoned to not only help you with this project, but to help you with all projects going forward. So at this point, does anybody have any questions? And if you do, feel free to just speak up. Okay.
I want to know how you get those color things on the side and how you've got that all organized. I know that may be kind of an odd question, but I'm like, look at how yours are all color coded and put in there and all that kind of stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah, so Molly shared this little trick with me, Patty. It's a plugin. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but I can get that to you.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right.
I have a question, Christy.
Sure.
It seems like my brain works in metaphors, that ChatGPT is like our ghostwriter, and we're telling the ghostwriter, this is my style, this is how I think, this is my background. So like I use a lot of metaphors. I can tell, I experimented, I threw it in, please use metaphors where it makes sense, because that's the way I write.
Perfect.
And talk.
Perfect.
So that's sort of a way, is that a good metaphor to think of ChatGPT like our ghostwriter that's helping us?
I would think of ChatGPT like your assistant, your virtual assistant, and you're training it. You're training it all around your business because you're going to want to use this to help you with things beyond your story. Like I have a whole training on offer creation, and I have a whole training on, marketing strategies. Like there's so many things that you're going to be able to use this for you're going to use this going forward, and you want to just train it like you would your personal assistant.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions before we move on? Yep, Judith, go ahead. Oh, you're muted. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, sorry. I used ChatGPT before and maintained some kind of history.
Yep.
And I did all this homework and I lost it. So
Ooh.
I don't know, like, how did you get all of your history maintained in your ChatGPT account?
Well, if you log into the same account, your history.
I thought I did, but I just went to ordinary ChatGPT. Like I've opened it before and my other work was there, but all that stuff I did for you guys through the homework is gone. So like I kept paper copies, but I'm just curious, how do you, like I hit ChatGPT 3.5.
Right. When you go into chat, you should have had to have logged in or would have remembered you from the last time you logged in. And so if you're not seeing your history, I'm honestly thinking that maybe you logged in with a different, maybe you did it through Google one time and then you did it through an email another time. I don't
Okay, okay, thanks. All right.
If you go down to your name and then go back up and hit to get that box back, maybe it's still in that box, because that's where mine was, because I couldn't find mine either.
So go down here and hit.
Yep, go back to where it says your name and then go back up to where you're.
Can I share my screen? All I've got is a blank screen. Sure. Like there's nothing there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So I'm here. Like I tried to put the word custom in to see if I could find what you were talking about, but all my other work is gone.
So on the right hand side where it says history, is there anything if you click that? Up on the
There's no, like, my screen doesn't have anything on it, like,
and it's
nothing.
over in the
It's,
top right where it says history.
I don't see the word
I'm
history.
seeing the word history to the right hand side. Right there. Click. There's a to the right of that. See
Oh,
it?
there.
Yep.
Okay.
What happens if you open and close that? History.
Okay.
No, there's nothing, huh?
No.
Yeah, I don't know how to help you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
I just thought there might have been a magic trick, so
Yeah.
I'll stop sharing.
I'm thinking that you may be again logged in with two different names or something. So hopefully what you have before, you know, like I don't know.
Well, there's not a lot. Like, I'm just getting started, so it's
Okay.
no great loss. Okay. Okay.
Any other questions before we keep rolling?
Yeah, Christy, Jane here.
Okay.
Hi, I don't have the paid version, so I've clicked on your Story Authority Creator, but to get into that, I have to pay, correct?
Right, but there was hopefully Brandi put two different links in there.
Right,
On the chat super prompt document, there are two different options. It says if you have the free version, click here. And if you have the paid version, click here.
okay, right. So I've got that. I've got the free version up
Yep.
because I've been on ChatGPT. So
Yep.
I was trying to figure out what do I do from here? Like it
Yep.
just,
So, well, I'm getting into that next.
oh, okay,
The only way to use the Story Authority Creator is if you have the paid version.
right. Okay,
If you have
so,
the free version, don't worry because we're going through all of the same steps as if we had the paid version. It's just there's a little bit more in the back end of the Story Authority Creator one.
okay, so you're gonna go over how to
Yeah,
do it on the
that's
other.
the next. Yep, we're gonna
Perfect.
go into that next.
All righty, great.
Okay,
Thanks.
so let me.
Hi, Christy.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question. Do you have any ideas if you have two different businesses with two different brand voices for custom instructions?
Yeah, and so absolutely, because my custom instructions are different as well because I tell it about that I want it to work for me and for my clients. Okay, so you're gonna in the custom instructions pretty much say that you have two businesses and you want it to work for both of them. And then when you have each project will be separate for that different business. And so when you start a new project, you have to make sure that you let your assistant know that it's for this business. I mean, honestly, just look at your ChatGPT like your personal assistant. And as long as you give it the right instructions and the right information, it will know how to help you. And
Okay,
then,
great.
and
Yeah, I know that getting the word count just right for the one business was
I know.
incredible. So
Yeah.
All right,
So-
thanks so much.
Sure. And then another thing too, as we're going through this, our AI assistant is going to make mistakes just like people do. So if you give it information and it gives you the wrong response, then you just say, hey, no, I don't want it for this business. I need it for this business. And it'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. And then it'll give you the right information. So just treat it like it's a person and talk to it like you would talk to an assistant and redirect it.
She wants pet.
Yeah, go through what you would do to just help guide it along to get you the results you want. Okay,
Wonderful, thank you.
sure. All right, I'm going to go back and share my screen. All right, we're going to go back to the super prompts because we've already seasoned our assistant. So number 3 is clarify your ideal client journey. Now, in step 1, we filled out all of this information, but now we're going to want to start a new conversation or a new thread or a new project, and we're going to paste in this information. We're going to take the data that you did in step 1, put it down here in step 3, and we're going to start a new conversation and say, hey, now I address mine as Brandi. I gave my assistant a name. So I would say, hey, Brandi, here are the basic details about my business, my core offer, and my ideal client. There is no assignment yet. I just want you to have an understanding of my business so that my story will be aligned with my business brand. And so take the data from step 1, paste it down here in step 3, because then we're going to take all of this information and start a new conversation. So we just basically take all of this data that you filled out up here, copy it, and then paste it down here. Now, I'm not going to actually do this because if I change it, you guys are going to see all of the changes, and I don't want to change your document. But then you should be able to take all of this information, copy it, go to your assistant and start a new thread and just paste it in and hit enter. Now, I'm not going to put that in there because my assistant will be super confused if I give it information with no data. So you guys following me so far? That's all we're going to do is we're going to start the first conversation with our assistant, whether you're using the Story Authority Creator or whether you're using the free version, and we're just going to get the ball rolling.
Christie,
Christie, for clarification, is when you say start a new thread, do you just mean
Yep.
dump data in that open
Yep.
window?
Down here in this
Okay.
little thing down here where I put a bunch of D's, you just paste it in there
Right.
and you hit enter and then see what it says. Jay, go ahead.
so Christie, I totally get where you put it in your profile thing,
Yep.
all that data. But
Yep.
are you saying that every time you start a new thread, you also want to take that and post it in the beginning of the thread?
No, we don't need to. It's just we're starting a new specific project around our story. And it's really important that the assistant knows the foundational elements of our story, so it gives us the right information. The more you use your AI assistant, whether you'll have access to the Story Creator forever, but you're not going to want to use this for other projects. So if you start a new thread that's not the Brandi bots, then the more you use ChatGPT, the more it knows about your whole business in general. And so if you're doing, like Jay, if you're doing something for one of your clients, you want to start that thread saying, hey, this is for my client, this is her information. But anything else, the more you use your assistant, it's going to already know that information about you.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure. Everybody following so far? Okay, perfect. Oh, Sandra, go ahead. I see somebody's hands up there. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, my question is the Story Authority Creator, is that an add-on that goes to chat?
It is a special, I don't think it's a plugin. It may be considered a plugin, but it's only available if you have the paid version. And
I
this,
do have the paid version. So
Okay.
when I go to put my information in, then it automatically becomes Story Authority Creator. Is that
No,
what you're telling me?
you need to click on the link that opens this particular GPT.
Okay, I'm wanting to follow you. And then also, is this presentation being recorded as well?
Yeah, I believe I hit record. Did I hit record earlier?
Now, that part I don't know.
Yes, you did.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I kept worrying. I'm like, please don't forget to hit record. Yeah, so if you go back to the super prompts document, which is right here, and you go to the very beginning, and it says, if you have the paid version of GPT, open our Story Authority Creator. If you click that, it should open up.
Okay, I'm looking,
Brandi.
I'm gonna get it full size and so I can see where you're saying. Where
Oh.
did you see that at? Because I do have the paid version of chat.
So before you get started, how to use the super prompt, if you go to line item number 3,
Oh, that's where it's at. Okay.
you click that link, and Brandi will put it in the chat if you can't find it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I got this paper earlier. Is this, did you update this from an earlier version?
Nope. This has
No?
been what I've been
Okay.
sharing. Now, this is not the pre-work document.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Yeah. This is just for today.
Now, my question, how many days do we have of this, or is just one day, and how many hours? Because I've got craziness going on. in
Yeah,
my
so
life.
this presentation is going to be done in, well, it's 2 hours total. So we still have an hour and a half left. And then it will be available. I know I'm going to be on a cruise for the next 10 days or 7-8 days. And I plan to leave it on the week after. So you consider you'll have it for about 10 to 14 days.
Okay, so I can leave today early and then come back to it.
Yes.
Christie, I really appreciate all this information because I feel like I'm a sponge on getting this information.
Yeah, and I
So
know it's a lot. And
It
I know-
is, but I'm gonna have to leave, but I really appreciate what you gave me here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay.
Thank you.
So now we have seasoned our assistant. We've given it its first basic instructions where we're telling it this is our business, right? We've got started. The next step is to now talk about the buying beliefs of your clients. Now, you may think this is kind of silly. Why do we need to do this? But it's really important to make sure that our assistant understands some and helps you understand why your ideal clients want to work with you. And so the only thing you have to do here is put in this blue section the name of your core program. Now, hopefully everybody has a core signature program that they're sending people to, or they're working on it. Maybe you don't have it complete, but just give it a name. Like hopefully up above, when you detailed your programs, you have an idea of what that looks like. But our goal in business is everything we do should be leading to a sale or a transaction of some sort, because we can't help people if we're not having that transaction to support them. And so marketing, speaking, sharing your story, and we're going to get into some of this in a little bit, but all you do is put in the name of your program, you highlight this whole yellow section, and then you go to ChatGPT and you give it the next set of instructions. So you take that whole section, you paste it in. Oh, I didn't do it. I should probably have like an example when I do this. The only reason why I don't use an example is because I don't want to completely confuse my assistant. But what you need to do, and I'm sure I could tell it, but I didn't think about that ahead of time. But you copy all of this, and what it's going to do, it's going to give you a list of buying beliefs, because that is going to help you going forward. You want to know, why me? Why do they want to work with you? Why this? Why do they want to buy your product? Why me is, what is the result they want? Why this is, why do they want your product? Why you? Why do they want to work with you? Why now? It's really important to understand why now. Why is their urgency so important? Now, all you need to do with this information is put it in. It'll spit out a table. And so you'll get some great information. We're not going to use this information for your story, but what it's going to do, it's going to get your GPT to have a better understanding about your business. And it's going to be some great data that you're going to be able to use going forward as well. So go ahead and do that. And then what I have here is, if you can then take that data and paste it into this document. So everything you have when you're done is going to be housed in this document. Now I'm going to show you an example of some data that my GPT has given me when I first started working with this, and it will hopefully give you a good understanding of what I'm talking about.
Christie, quick question. Are you giving us time to write this now, the buying beliefs, or we're doing it later?
No, you're not writing anything. You're asking it to tell you to give it to you.
Oh.
So I'm going to go this. I'm showing an example because I did this initially. Okay, so here, this was my question. Act like a marketing expert. I'd like you to craft compelling content that is consistent with, that will instill buying beliefs in my clients. And so I pasted the information in here. This is what it gave me. This is what ChatGPT gave me, this whole chart. And this is what you should be getting, something like this. Like this is it completely in alignment. Some of it's off a little bit, but you know, a lot of it is completely on point with my business. Why me? Why this? Why you? Why now? And why not? And so you'll get a chart like this that all you need to do is then copy this like this, and then paste it into your prompt document so you have it for later. I'm going to remove that. Okay, So far, so good, everybody?
I have one really quick question, Christy. You said that the prompts wasn't the pre-work. I thought it was. Where am I going to find the pre-work that I said I did that I didn't do?
Well, you should have gotten emails. I can get the pre-work document here. Let's see. Copy the link. Basically, the pre-work document, I'm going to open it up so you can see, Sue.
Thank you.
Had you put a lot of this information together beforehand, and it's like the business details, a core offer.
I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought that was the other document. I'm good.
No, it's this, so you should have been able to take this information and paste it into the super prompts that we're working on now.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so super prompts, where are you? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my slides because we've got the basics into our assistant, so it knows a little bit about our business. And what I want you to now realize is learn a little bit about your story. Before we start creating your story, there are a lot of things I learned over the years that I think are going to be super helpful to make sure that you move in the right direction. So, present the naked truth about your story. So, I read a book the other day, or I'm reading it right now, and they talked about the naked truth. These are the things that you don't necessarily want to know, but they're really important to do. Just like, being naked. Not everybody wants to see us naked, but it's important. That's who we are. So the naked truth about our story is that nobody cares about your story. And that's a hard thing to realize, but it is the truth. Now, of course, your friends and your family care about your story, but when you're sharing your story with a group of strangers or a room full of an audience or people that read your story, they want to know how your story relates to their story. And it's really a hard thing for us to think from that perspective, but the sooner we could look at our story from the outside in and see how our story can help them and how we can share it in a way that's going to give them the result they want, the better chance we're going to have to connect with them. So I first shared my story back in 2012 when I was asked to be in this book by a mentor of mine, Michelle Prince. And that is what got me on the journey of stories. And in 2013, that's not even our first book. Our first book was Dynamic Women. And I learned a lot of things over the years. I've gone on to not only produce a ton of co-authored books for my company, I've done it for other companies. And I've helped people. Actually, I was just thinking too. Jennifer, I know you were in one of the Today's Inspired Latina books. So I helped Jackie with the very first one there. And then I've also helped a lot of people write their solo books. So the reason why I'm sharing this is because we want to make sure that we're sharing our story in a way that is going to connect with our audience. And so I am going to switch back over to these crazy things, the super prompts, because I want to continue on because we really want to understand which story to use. So when we want to take our next step, which is step 4, we want to make sure we do more than inspire our audience through our Uh-oh, somebody's got a dog or a cat doing something wrong.
Sorry.
Okay, pretty soon you're going to hear my dog. I'm going to say the same thing to my dog because she'll be wanting dinner soon. But what we want to do is make sure that we have the right methodology and the right call to action. We want to create not only an inspiring story, but we want to share some wisdom with our story. And so the next step that we're going to do is work on the teaching points. I'm going to actually go back to my slides because we'll present. Here we go. When we look at our stories have to do 4 things. We want to lead our audience to their desired outcome. Now, when I shared my story the first time, it was about my divorce. Now, I didn't understand which story to share. I didn't understand the power of story and how it would help my business. Now, I did share my story about my divorce, and I had quite a few women reach out to me in the years to follow to thank me for sharing my story. But it wasn't the right story for my business at the right time because, well, I was in networking then in mortgages. So I didn't necessarily need to have the right story to make a sale. But what we want to do with our story and the story I share now is a story that my ideal client can relate with, not so that I'm the hero, but so my ideal client knows I'm the best one to help them get their desired result. We don't want to be the hero. We want to be the guide or the leader to help them on their journey. We want to then inspire our audience through our story. And so the story framework I'm going to be going through is a 7-step process that's going to start with a pivotal moment or a defining moment, like a mic drop moment that's going to capture the attention of our audience and get them hooked into reading more. Because if you start weak, chances are people may not continue reading because they're distracted. I mean, look at how many different stimuli that we're being faced with on every given moment and every given minute. So we want to bring our audience through a story arc that starts by capturing their attention and then taking them on the journey of struggles to the promised land and sharing all the wisdom that you learned along the way. Oh, I did backwards. No, I don't want to go backwards. All right, here we go. Hopefully, there we go. Equip. I didn't realize that if you click the screen on the left-hand side, it'll go backwards. The next thing you want to do is equip your reader. So you want to not only share your story, but you want to share tangible tips, tools, resources, anything that's going to help them on their journey. And then finally, you want to share a next step, which could be a call to action. How are they going to be able to get more support from you? I don't know about you, but I've heard some amazing speakers in my life. And I was so moved by their presentation that I wanted more from them. And a lot of times they sold a book, right? And I bought the book. I may not have ever read the book, but at that moment, I wanted more from them. Sometimes they sold a program. And, if they were really good and their offer aligned with my vision and my goals, I would buy the program. But quite often I'd hear amazing speakers and then it was just over. So I'm just encouraging you or challenging you. If you're going to be out there sharing your story, whether it's in this book or speaking or any other way, give your audience a next step. Even if it's creating a little mini micro course with the 3 lessons that you're sharing with your story, you don't even have to charge for it if you don't want to, but you want to give your audience a next step so that way they can take a little piece of you home with them and they feel complete. Now, I know the women we work with are, in this next book, we're going to have a few men with our co-authored series. It's a great way to allow people to read your story and take a little bit of you home with them and have a next step, which is a call to action or a lead magnet for people to jump on your list. And so this is the 3 elements for you, like the mastery equation. And the first one is your signature story. I'm going to go through your signature story, your prospect conversion machine, and your irresistible offer. And I'm going to go through this really fast because this is not the focus of this presentation, but I just want you to see how it all fits together. So your signature story in your book, the way I teach it, can honestly be the same framework that you use for your signature talk. It's a compelling opening. It's a story to get people to connect with you. It's your 3 teaching points. And then it's a close and a call to action. It's the same framework, but you're going to do it a little different in a talk, but it's pretty much the same process. And if you think about speakers you've heard, they get started strong, they connect with you with their story, they share 3 teaching points, and then there's some sort of a compelling close. The next thing is your prospect conversion machine. And this is kind of where I want to just briefly go over the different ways that you can get your story out there. You can give it out there as a speaker, with a giveaway, podcast. A lot of our clients get interviewed on so many podcasts because podcast hosts know that their audience loves to hear stories that go along with the wisdom that's shared on the show. When you network online, my gosh, there's so many things that you can do online to get your story a part of your business brand, and of course, your website. Now, when I work with my clients, they have two paths. One, when they speak and do everything online, that leads to an exclusive gift. And then on their website, there's just a regular website gift. These are what we call lead magnets. And when you have your lead magnet that is working well, it's constantly building your list, constantly connecting with your ideal clients, and that leads to some sort of indoctrination event. That would be a workshop like this, or a masterclass, a webinar, or maybe even a challenge. Now, the goal for all of that is to eventually invite people to work with you in either a membership or some sort of have some sort of a conversation to see if they are a better fit for a bigger client. But what you want to do is have one simple path for your future clients to work with you. And then the third piece of this Mastery EQ is to have an irresistible offer. And just basically what you want to do is make sure that you have an offer stack and you have one main path. And I think the biggest thing that I see with entrepreneurs that holds them back is that they have so many offers, they do so many things, they want to help so many people. They're kind of confused on a direct path for their clients. So it's hard for their prospects to realize the best path for them. And when our business is designed correctly, we'll have a streamlined plan and a process to attract, convert, and serve our customers in the most efficient way possible. No more getting distracted by what other people are doing or spending time and energy on things that don't lead to sales and, most importantly, profits. So I'm going to just kind of go through this really quickly, because when you're out networking and speaking, and when you're marketing, and when you're doing all these things to grow your business, it's really important to have like a simple process. Now, when I work with my clients, they've got start with a high ticket beta program, and look, you can see if they just sell 10 to get started, you can make money. Then you go into up leveling that program, adding a membership, up leveling that a little bit more, and then finally continuing to enhance that product line to include some more higher ticket options and experiential retreats. So those are just kind of ideas of different journeys that you can have. And so hopefully that gives you an understanding of like the business strategy around our story. And now we're going to actually dive into the rest of this process to make sure that we start getting the story written. So let's move this. Before I go farther, does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. So now the next step is our methodology and our call to action. We want to make sure that our AI assistant understands our business plan and understands our offer and a little bit about our process of how we work with our clients. And so you may not have that defined already, or you may already have it defined. But what we're going to do is ask our assistant to help us massage that a little bit and help it understand a little bit more about us. So these are the prompts we're going to use. And the first one is, hi again, my core program, and then like mine is Epic Mastery, has already been outlined, but based on your extensive research of educational design and understanding my mission, what would be the ideal teaching topics included in this program to ensure my clients achieve the results that my program desires, which is, and then you put in the promise. I'm asking you to ensure I haven't missed any crucial steps. Now, you may be wondering why I'm doing this. As I said before, part of our story framework is story and 3 teaching tips. So what we want to do is make sure we have clarity around which 3 teaching tips we want to include with our story. Because we may not know, or we may know, but we may not know the best teaching tip. So what we're going to do is use the assistant to help us figure that out. So is everybody following me about the logic around what we're doing? Okay, Perfect. Feel free to speak up if you have questions. So we're going to take this prompt with your program name in it and the promise, and then you're going to go ahead and add that to your assistant. And actually, I'm going to actually show you what it's done for me. So this is the why me, why now. Those are blog posts. I don't have the right one up. And I don't want to spend time looking for it. But once you put that information in there, what it's going to do is give you a step-by-step process of a really good program outline. Now, again, you don't have to use this program outline, but what it's going to do, it's going to allow you to see your methodology from a different perspective. And then you're going to work with your assistant to help you find out which 3 teaching tips you want to include with your story. So feel free to go ahead and paste that information into your prompt and see what it spits out. And what I would like to do at this point is have a guinea pig, I guess you want to say, share the data that they got from their assistant up from that last response or that last question. Does anybody want to, Dale, do you have a question?
Can I ask a question first? These terms are not exactly lining up with the prep document. What was the promise? Is that the
promise, like what is your program?
I'm falling behind trying to find everything.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and I know I have to keep in mind that when I'm sharing my screen, you guys are looking at both documents. So on the prep document, you had the name of your program and the outcome or promise that it gives your clients.
Or is it the benefits? Because you
Benefits?
didn't use the word.
Okay, well,
Okay.
yeah, could be the benefits, but really, like, what does your client want? What is the desired outcome that they want? I thought that was one of the,
It's not in here. So I'm trying to find what.
okay. It is.
So we're looking at it not from the big pain that's keeping them up at night, but what they want.
Yeah, what is, so how will your offer help them through this? So core
Sounds
offer.
like maybe benefits then.
No, so on the prep document where it says core offer, what is the big
Oh.
result or outcome they will receive by completing my program? That's the data we want.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, who wants to be the guinea pig and share their screen to share what they got from this data? Anybody?
I'd be happy to if I can catch up.
Am I going too fast? Because we can like hang out here for a little while and give you guys all the time to catch
A
up.
little bit, just because these terms aren't matching.
Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna just
So promise is different than the desired result? Because you have used 2 different terms,
yeah,
promise
so
and desired
on
result.
the offer, what is the outcome your client wants? What is the last question? What is the desired outcome your program delivers, I think?
Yeah, but then in the new document we're working on today, you have promise in one spot and desired outcome in another, desired result. Is that still the same thing?
Pretty much, it should be.
Okay.
Does anybody want to?
Christy, I think what happened, at least for me, the first document that I got, it didn't have all the list of details. It only went up to like step 3. So this new document that you sent right now is a lot longer.
Right.
So can we just have maybe a few minutes to plug those in, or?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the first section, yeah. Oh, Karen. Hey, Karen.
Your new document is resequenced a little.
Is
Business
it?
name and the offer and those sections are different.
Yeah. Well, it was the prep work was really just kind of designed to not mimic the work that we're doing today, but to allow you to do some stuff where you can just paste it in there. So thank you for the feedback, because what I'll do is next time, if I do this again, I will make sure that I'm more clear when we get started about pasting that information over. So there's only one document that you're working from. Perfect. Thanks, guys.
I got a question, Christy. So
Christy.
I'm just starting, and my chat GBT is how can I help you today? Should I just follow along with you guys, or what can I put in to get me started here?
Well, did you season your assistant already?
I did not.
Okay, so then what you're going to want to do, Cindy, at this point is follow along so you understand what we're doing, and then watch the replay and go back step by step through the process and start with
Okay.
seasoning your assistant and then giving it the instructions that we've already done and just go step by step through the process.
Okay, now I was having trouble logging into that one step 3 and I couldn't get further. So is there some reason why that was not, it asked for my email address, my business Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
link?
I think you asked that before. So no, that's
Yeah.
okay. It's step 3, that was just allowing me to have more information about you.
Yeah,
So I have better, equipped to follow
Yeah.
up and support you.
so I don't need to go back to that, just keep
No,
following along.
yeah,
And okay.
So it's my dog's turn to. I'm going to actually pause the recording for just one moment while you guys are getting. Okay, yeah. So these are your teaching. So can you go back up and share the prompt, what you asked it?
Yeah, I think I messed up on that.
That's okay.
But I did
Okay, that's fine. Okay, you'd
up
add
above.
that to all?
Yeah, I did it all the way up above here.
Okay,
Um,
which is fine. It just helps me to know what I'm looking at. So this is
yeah, I think I did it. I copied and pasted from the pre-work in here.
okay.
And then it summarized it all for me
Uh-huh.
below,
Okay.
right here. So core offer, pain point solved, transformation, meet our ideal client, and why choose us, and kept going from there. So kind of like summarized it.
Yeah.
And then I put this in here on accident.
Yeah. See, now that probably confused it a little bit.
Yeah, but then it let me know, just let me know when you're
Yeah.
ready to craft your story. And then I think I made another mistake, but it still worked.
Okay.
And so ideal
Right, so
teaching
here's-
topics for Heart of
yeah.
Sales. Yeah.
So does the answers that it give you, does it resonate with you?
It does. I mean, the wording is off a little bit,
Yeah.
and but it still works, and it's just for one of my programs, even though my company name is Sales from the Heart. The one program is called Heart of Sales.
Okay.
And so I think that's in there, probably not as much about sales as I would have liked, because I told it
Okay.
not to be salesy.
Oh, yeah.
But I probably
you
need
can
to
go back and say,
change
hey,
that.
I wanted to cover more sales topics, but I don't want you to share in a way that's super salesy and car salesy, sleazy-ist,
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I think prerequisite for ideal clients, I think there was genuine connection rather than traditional sales tactics right here. So I
Okay.
think it incorporated some of that there.
Okay.
And then the lead magnet, which is kind of interesting because in my 10-minute business makeover on my website, it does cover all these things actually
Look at
in
that.
there in the story. Yeah. And I encourage people to write their story through that lead magnet. So yeah, I might actually take this and just have it create maybe a different opt-in page for me.
Okay.
Because my opt-in, I think, could use a little bit of work on there. But once people get into the story and the emails that go out, they really like it. It's just getting them to that, and maybe even have it create some posts for me to draw people into that lead magnet.
Yeah. And so I'm going to actually share my screen here a little bit because I love that you brought those things up. A couple things. First of all, let me go to my GPT. If you have the paid version, you can get the plugin. Okay, let's see, what is it called? Oh gosh, of course I'm not going to be able to. Okay, here are my plugins. So the plugins I have that I would encourage, if anybody has a website that is in alignment with their brand, it's current, it's their main website, get the plugin Web Pilot. Because what you do with Web Pilot is you put the URL of your website and it analyzes your website, and it will help you make changes and additions and improvements on your website to make it more in alignment with marketing strategies and what people need to see on their website. So the only way you can get Web Pilot is if you have the paid version. The paid version is only $20 a month, but it is a great resource to help you improve your website and get your assistant to understand more about your company. So you're seasoning your GPT in the custom instructions field, but when you put your website in there, now it's just going to be empowered even more to know more about your business and your offers. So that's one point. Another point I want to bring up that Jennifer just mentioned is you can actually have your assistant design a high converting sales page or a high converting lead magnet page. Basically, the more you use it, it will actually spit out step by step everything. If you give it the right prompts, of course, but it will provide you the ideal customer journey on whatever converting page you want to create. All right. Any questions so far before I continue on?
Yeah, I have one. Just in your working document,
Yep.
what is the field paste the table here or paste the data here? Is that an instruction to us? It's not for ChatGPT,
Correct.
right?
The yellow stuff is where, and in the very first section where it says how to use this document, the yellow sections, the blue sections are for you to put your data in. The yellow sections
Right.
are for you to add to your assistant to GPT. The white sections are for you. So what you would want to do where it says paste the table data here, when the GPT spits it out, you then copy that, put it on your Word document or your Google document. So you have everything
Bring it
in one
back.
place. And when we do get to
Okay.
our story framework, we're going to have the same process. We're going to have it right, seeing one of our story, it's going to spit it out, and then we're going to copy and paste it and put it on our Google Doc. So it's all in one spot.
So just so you know, I did go back and I got the black box again.
Okay.
And then I said, can you show me the results in normal text and not in plain text code? At least it spit out bullets. It didn't put it in a table, but I got normal text.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, somewhere,
If that happens to anybody else, it's
something
really
that you
weird.
put in there, had it believe somewhere that you wanted to have it in the plain text code. I don't know how, but you were able to figure it out,
Who
which
knows
is
what.
which is good.
All right.
All right, let's move on because we have about 50 minutes left and still a lot more to do. All right, and I am recording, so that's good. And let's go back to the prompt document. All right, so far now you guys all were super achievers and you did all 3 steps at once. But typically what you would do the first prompt, you get the data, and then you paste that information here. Oops, paste that information here. Now you go to the second prompt, help me identify 3 beliefs, steps, or resources that my ideal client will need. And it's really important what they will need before they are ready to get started in my program. Because what you want to do is bring your prospect on a journey eventually from point A to Z, but you want to help them with step A, B, and C. So they need you for D, E, and F, and they need you the rest of the steps, right? You want to make sure you give them the steps that they need so they realize they need more steps and that you are the one to help them with that. So the next prompt is to help you identify some lead magnet options. So hopefully you guys all were able to do that information and you got back some stuff that may not be perfect, but some of it may be really good and some of it may need a little tweaking. And so what I have here is a stop sign and it says, you pasted your information on the Google Doc, but then make sure you go back and refine the work to give it human input before you move on. And if your assistant is way off on anything, feel free to just go back and redirect it. All right. We're going to dive into now the signature story framework. And I'm super excited to share how this is going to flow. This is a framework that I've developed over the last 11 years as I've been working with people on their stories. But before I do that, I want to go back to my slides. So let's see, where am I at? Present. All right, so let's go forward. So I mentioned earlier that I've been working with mostly women for the last 11 years, helping them develop their signature stories. And I'm really excited about the next project. I want to spend about 5 minutes sharing our next project. So if any of you guys want to join me, you'll know the basics, and then we can schedule a call to talk more. And so about a year ago, I changed our podcast from Overcoming Mediocrity to Mastery Unleashed. I found over the years that many of our clients that used to resonate with the Overcoming Mediocrity brand didn't resonate with being mediocre anymore. And so I'm excited to be unleashing our Unleashed series. And our first book is going to be Mastery Unleashed. And it's going to be stories and strategies to fuel your success. Now, we have 3 different options. And again, we've been doing this for so long. We started doing it before people even knew what an anthology was. It wasn't popular to be in co-authored books. And even right now, some people don't think that a co-authored book is what they want to spend their time and money on. However, the great thing about being in a co-authored book is it gives you massive exposure, because not only are you getting your story in front of your audience, you're getting your story in front of the audiences of every single one of those women. Plus, you're getting marketing from all of the other co-authors in the book with you. Plus, you're getting marketing from us. So there's a ton of visibility, a ton of exposures. And as we're trying to stay relevant in the marketplace, we have a new option where we are utilizing the co-authored kind of business model and allowing our clients to have a custom cover design. And not only will they have their own unique design, their story will be the very first one in the series, and all of the series, and they'll be able to have their own introduction. So it gives them more kind of recognition. Not only are they on the cover, but they are really positioning themselves as the leading expert of the series of different co-authors that are in the book with you. I do have 3 different participation options: a legacy, a gold, a platinum. I'm not going to go into all of the details, but what I want to do is share our basic package. It's our legacy package. I know you guys all know that a confused mind does nothing, so I'm not going to give you all 3 options. I'm going to give you the first step option, and it is a 2,000-word story. In the book, you're going to have an author bio, contact information, your photo in the book. It's going to be published. You're going to have the paperback copies and electronic version. And we have biweekly calls with all of the authors to connect, to collaborate, and for strategy. Now, you will also become an Amazon bestselling author, which is one of the benefits of being in a co-author book, is we have joint marketing efforts to get that book to hit #1 quickly, so you can say you're an Amazon bestselling author. And then, of course, I want to offer a special to all of you guys. For any of the packages you want, I'm offering an amazing discount, but I only am inviting everybody to our legacy package. And then if you want to upgrade to another package, we'll have a conversation to see if it's a good fit for you and me. But our basic package is normally $11.50. And for today, anybody that signs up through the weekend can get in for only $8.95. So it's a great way to get your first book done, fast, easy, in a fun way, get you a lot of exposure, and get you to become an Amazon bestselling author. So that's all I have. This is just a slide that is not done. That was our template. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the super prompts. But before I do that, does anybody have any questions about anything so far, and more specifically about possibly joining us for our next project? We have about 20 people in each book. We have 6 already, so we have about 14 spots left. So if anybody wants to jump on board, feel free to connect with me today. The project is going to be printing mid-year, hopefully the end of Q2 of this year, or maybe early Q3. Really depends on, I'm hoping sooner, because with all of these story prompts, it's going to help people get their stories written quicker. But it really depends on the team that we put together and how fast we get that all developed. And then I know Brandi is going to put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to join that. And then I want to now dive into the story. So if anybody
Can I
has,
ask a quick
yes,
question about the legacy thing or the
Yeah.
book? Is it going to be similar to what I saw you part of at Matt's?
yep.
Because I've been a part of a couple and they were like itty bitty tiny things that were
Oh.
just sad.
No,
It's
no,
going to
no.
be like what you guys had, right?
Oh yeah, they're high quality books. Like I say, we've been doing this a
Yeah.
long time. They're high quality. We actually did one for engaging speakers. They're usually like between 200 to 300 books. Very high quality, good editing,
Thank
good
you.
everything. Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks for asking.
I have a question.
Yes, Cindy.
How many words is the limit to that the book?
So that one is a 2,000 word
2,000.
story. Yep.
That's what I thought you said. Okay.
Yeah. And again, there's different options if anybody wants to upgrade, but that's like the best way to get your foot in the door and secure a chapter. And then we can talk about other options going forward, which,
So it would just be one chapter of the book.
yep,
You can create your title of the book,
yeah,
everything. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's the special edition cover is not the legacy one. So this, if you want to have one with your own special cover, that is an upsell. That's an
Yeah.
premium
Right.
offer. But yeah, the basic one has your story, your contact information. You get all, you know, the Amazon bestseller campaign and all the fun stuff.
So it would just be, so you wouldn't be on the cover. How would you be viewed in there? Just, I would be chapter number 3 or whatever. How
Yeah.
would that?
So up until this point, we have always done a cover where people's pictures are on like this. Now,
Okay.
there's things are changing in the anthology world. And so I am gonna, once we get the first, 10, we're gonna actually have our first meeting in a couple of weeks, which Jane, I was gonna voicemail you this morning and Carla, but I didn't have time. The authors are gonna decide, they're gonna pick the cover, whether they want faces on the cover, whether they want like a really cool cover with no faces. I'm gonna let you guys decide how we want to go with this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting.
All right, let's get into the
Thank you.
story because I want to make sure that we can like buzz through this and that we still have 40 minutes. We're good, but I am here at the end if anybody has any more specific questions. Okay. All right, so now we're going to get into not the slides because we don't need the slides because those are not even done. Okay, so now we're going to get into your signature story framework. Now, there's going to be a little work in this. And so this is kind of going to be our working session where I'm not going to go really fast. So we're going to just take it step by step because in each one of these scenes, it's really important for you to give it the right data. Now I'm going to go over the scenes like high level. I'm going to run through all 7 scenes and then we're going to go back and go through each scene at a time. So let me just go through all 7 scenes so you get the big picture bird's eye view, and then we'll go to scene 1. And then if you have any questions, we'll go from there. So in the story framework, it's really important, like I said earlier, to get the attention of the reader right away and take them on a journey from struggle to the promised land. So scene 1 is setting the stage with a high defining moment. It's the captivating scene that gets their attention, gets the audience to lean in, sparks curiosity, or even something shocking, something. I mean, sometimes people start with a staggering statistic, anything that's going to get the audience to just be awed. So we start with scene 1, then we go to scene 2. Now, this is when we like go to the backstory. Like what happened before that? What was your life like before? Like set the stage so people have a better understanding of who you are and what your life was like before you got to this particular moment, right? This is where you talk a little bit about just you as a person, bring in anything relevant that you think is going to be important to your story. Keep in mind that your story is not for you, it's for your ideal client to understand that you are the one that can help them. So a lot of times my clients just brain dump, which I want you to brain dump, like get everything out. However, once your story is done, it's really important for you to set it aside for a couple weeks, come back, look at it with fresh eyes, maybe even have somebody you know read it and ask, hey, is everything I've included important and relevant to this particular journey? Now, if it's not relevant, don't delete it, take it out, use it somewhere else. But, and I know that's hard because I know the couple times I've written my story, everything is relevant to me because I lived that story. However, not everything is relevant to my ideal reader. So stuff that's not relevant, you just want to put somewhere else. So right now, when we get started, we just want everything because sometimes it's good to just get things out and get things moving. So scene 2 is flashback. What was your life like before? Scene 3, now you're on this journey. You're dealing with everything that led you up to this moment. You're dealing with the struggles. You're dealing with the challenges of your life. But at some point, you had a light bulb moment and you realized if nothing changes, nothing changes. And so you want to really define what that moment is. And you want to use that as the turning point because every good story has some sort of turning point from where they were to journey to the better life. And so that's scene 3. Scene 4 is what moved you through the pain. This is when you start going on your journey of discovering your better life, right? What did you learn? What qualifications did you achieve? How did you go about getting to the place you wanted to be? Scene 4 is your journey through the weeds. So a lot of scene 4 and scene 5 can be intermingled because as you're going on your journey, you're going to have some successes. You're going to learn a lot, but you're also going to have times where you hit a brick wall or you didn't know what to do. And it's really important that you highlight these failures because every failure, every stumbling block, every challenge you face along this journey, those are things that your ideal reader is going to resonate with because they're probably in that same spot. And so think back of all of the struggles you had to get to where you needed to be and talk about them. Because the more you can talk about your failures and that the fact that you overcame them, that is the part that is going to be really important for your ideal client to understand. You know how to help them. And so you're going to want to talk about your journey through the weeds. Scene 6 is your dragon strategies. So these are your tips, your resources, your tools, anything you learned along the way. These are the 3 points that we hopefully already defined in the work we did already. And that's why a lot of that information was done for a reason, because you want to give the first 3 steps that your ideal client needs to take to recognize, okay, now they need more steps and you're the person that can help them with the continuing journey. And then scene 7 is your final dream life. And that's when you set the scene for where things are now, how great things are, and how you can invite them to be on their journey with you. So that's a high level perspective. Now we're going to dive into the beginning of our scene. So before we do that, does anybody have any questions about the high level overview of the 7 scene framework? And if you do, feel free to just
quick.
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. Are the 3 tips, are they tips or sequential steps started? I think I've been hearing them as teaching points or tips.
Yep. So ideally, you want to give them some sort of resource, wisdom, information to help them with their first 3 steps. You want to help them through that. And so really depends on your business, your journey, like whatever your methodology is. You could just give them, like, I know we've had people just give like mindset cues about the first 3 steps, but it's whatever you can give them of tips or resources to help them kind of take their life from step A to B to C. Now, not everybody's methodology is sequential. And so it's hard for me to answer that because not everybody.
But if I have a choice, it sounds like you're suggesting it be sequential.
That is the best way because what you're doing is you want to give your ideal clients wins. And if you can get them a win from point A to point B, and then from point B to C, and then maybe give them a lead magnet that gets them to point D, they're getting wins and they're happy and they're thinking, oh my gosh, this person gets me. They're already helping me. Now they can help me more. If you give them random information, it's going to fill them up, but they're not necessarily going to be on a journey that they're going to recognize you're the right person. And that's the hardest part for us to figure out with our business. That's why GPT is so important, or working with a coach is so important, because it's really about the journey as opposed to just random information that we're throwing out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it just, you refer to them as strategies in the prep document and but you just mentioned them as steps. That's where I had a disconnect.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah. Strategies in sequential order. So, Sue, did you have a question? No? Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so let's keep going. Sherry, how are you feeling? I'm glad you're with me today.
I'm getting there.
Oh my gosh, this girl had the most crazy, oh, my Siri, I said Siri, she thought I said Siri. Sherry had the most crazy accident. I'm so glad that you're better and you're here and you look great.
Oh, thank you. It's getting better here. Still sore around here.
I know. Yeah, and it hurts to talk. She had cracked ribs amongst other things. So I know how hard it is to talk and breathe. So, but good to see you.
You too.
Okay. Share screen. Okay. All right. So let's get into our 5 steps, and we're going to get into each particular step and your mission before we start using our AI assistant is to fill in the blue sections. And knowing the scene, the overarching kind of journey, what we want to do in each section is give it bullet points. And that's why I kind of did it in bullet points. You don't have to like type a paragraph, but bullet points about the high defining moment of your journey. I mean, maybe you're in your bedroom and you want to say, I was in my bedroom. It was winter. It was cold. I don't know, anything that you can describe. And honestly, your scene 1 is the most important part of your story. Because if you can't get their attention when they start reading, they may not continue. So you want to think about every detail of that specific moment. Bring yourself back, like remember where you were, what you were hearing, what else was going on that day. Like bring that scene to life as vibrant and as colorful as possible. What did you hear? What did you see? What did you smell? If you can bring senses into it, that's going to even be more powerful. So make bullet points about anything related to that high defining moment and just type them into the blue section. And I'm going to give you guys a few minutes. Because remember, we're not going to probably get your whole story written today, but I want to make sure we just kind of go through all the elements, and then you guys can continue to go back and finish on your own. But hopefully I'll be able to cover enough so you won't have any questions.
I have a question.
Sure, Cindy.
So I was thinking of, why I love Chicago, but it's my story. You said they don't want to know about my story. So that's why I'm a little bit confused, but it's with intuition. It's, the what I needed to escape from, traumatic life with an alcoholic husband, raising 2 kids on my own, no support. I needed freedom. Got the message at the airport. I could smell it, sense it. Followed through with my intuition, sold everything after 33 years, bought the RV and left.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I learned on my journey, a lot of healing, I thought when I left everything, I just left the material things, but I needed to heal, when I left the emotional things and to grow and all that.
Is that what your client's looking for, is emotional healing? Who's your ideal client?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's,
someone that's kind of been through the ringer and wants freedom and, yeah,
yeah. So
step
it sounds
into
like-
their power, their intuition.
It sounds like your story is complete alignment with the story of your ideal client. And a lot of times our story is, our best story is our life in the rearview mirror, right? It's what we got through, because that is better than any, certification or degree, right? It's our life experience.
Right. So it would be the version of me, 20 years ago, someone that's going through the divorce or, post-divorce, whatever, that, wants to let go of things so they can experience the life that they've dreamed of as well. And
Right. And then you take your process and you intertwine your methodology, what you teach now, into your story. So because you know way more now than you did back then.
right.
And you want to make sure that you share those steps, those strategies along the way to help them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and one of the things I want to bring up, and I'm glad you kind of brought that up, not everybody's stories is exactly a mirror image of what they do with their clients. And I'm going to just share one example. And I know a lot of you guys know Jen Koffel,
Mhm.
she's the head of engaging speakers, and amazing story. And her signature story, and she is a very successful business coach. And her point that she shares with her story is about systems and processes. And so when she shares her signature story is about her adopting children and the fact that she couldn't have kids, and then she adopted kids, and then she had kids, and all of a sudden she's got all these kids very young, and she came up with this amazing system to do laundry. And so she uses her impactful story and the system she created to manage her children as the powerful story, or the signature story that she shares to position herself as the expert at creating systems for her clients. So you see kind of what I'm talking about is we want to have the story that we can use our story. We don't want to make anything up, but we want to take our story and share it. She doesn't talk about her struggles with adoption. She doesn't talk about the adoption journey. She talks about the part of that story that her clients want to hear. And that is that she's a master with systems and processes. So
you can give them a little tidbit, plant the seed just to spark the interest. So that's the spark. And then how she brainstormed to solve all these issues. Yeah. Okay. I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Awesome. Hopefully that little example helped people too.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to scene 2. Scene 2 is flashing back to the pain origin. So basically it's the backstory of your life. This is your chance to get in a few details about who you are as a person, how your ideal clients can connect with you. Now, when you're giving a signature talk, it is a little different. You're not going to go into a lot of this stuff in your talk because your audience doesn't have the attention span to really listen to all of the backstory. But you want to give a backstory. But when you're sharing your story in print, you have a little more leeway into going into a little bit more of this backstory. So, what was your life like before? How did you wind up in this mess, right? How did you discover your true passion or your life's purpose to solve this problem for others? Anything that will allow your audience to know a little bit more about you. And if you look at this prompt and all of these prompts, not only are we going to be giving our assistant instructions on your specific story, but we're also telling it the percentage that it needs to, like how much of the story needs to be in this scene. And with my framework, I've kind of come up with like a little bit of a formula, if you want to say. And this scene should be about 35% of your story. Now, I am basing all of this on a 3,000 word story. So if you are writing a story and it's only 2,000 words, you're going to want to go and adjust this formula a little bit. And this formula doesn't have to be exact. So if you have a really really dynamic opening scene, feel free to go 15% of your opening scene. You know, but what I wanted to do with this framework is to take every scene, work on it individually, so that way you can put all of the scenes together and have a complete story. Now, when I did this about 6 months ago, I just had the assistant write the whole story at one time. And it didn't work out so well. Now, he wrote a great story, but it didn't necessarily go through this story arc. And it wasn't able to do that many words because there is like a limiter on how much the GPT can actually put out. And so breaking it into 7 scenes is actually working way better. And so when we go to scene 2, you're going to want to put bullet points about your backstory. And then you're going to put all that information in and you're going to highlight the whole scene and paste that into the instructions for your GPT. And every one of these prompts are really specific and really important. So you want to make sure you highlight the whole yellow section.
Let's see, here we would take all 3 of those paragraphs.
Yep.
We only,
Yeah. You're going to
Yeah,
fill in the blue
wherever-
section. And then once it's done, then you're going to take the yellow and the blue, copy that whole thing and paste it into your assistant. Not the white.
right.
That's just notes to you. And then as we go down on this super prompt document, if you continue down, you're going to see your story summary. So you could do this as you go along, or you can do it at the end.
What
What you're gonna do.
This is a great day.
Somebody is not muted.
Shitty here today. It's snowing.
Cindy, okay. And so if you want all of the output that you get, you could actually paste it back into this document. So you have everything in one spot. It makes it so much easier later to have everything in one place so you can then work on it, massage it, and make it better.
Let's see, quick question. If you, just in terms of ChatGPT, this big long thread, it's all about this story.
Yep.
The next time you do another story, you start a whole new thread.
Another story, yes. If you want to continue on this story, you continue on this thread. But any other assignment, you start a new thread. Every assignment
And
will
if
have
you
its own
leave
thread.
it alone for a few days and you use ChatGPT, hey, just tell me more about Christie Ruffino. I want to know about her. And then I'm done with it. How do I get back to this thread? Do I name it something? And
Oh, so here, I'll show you. So Patty commented earlier that I had folders.
right.
That's because, let me go up here. I'm going to change back to this version, the 4. And I probably need to refresh. And now I have folders. That is a separate plugin. Again, I don't remember what it is, but you can see down here, all of these on the side are different threads. And I actually then, once you've done, like here is the thread that I did for this workshop. And I started asking questions, and there's like a lot of stuff. It's giving me email sequence, marketing copy, affiliate information, like it's all kinds of stuff on this one project. And what you do is once you finish that project, or even once you start the project, you click the 3 little dots next to that thread on the left-hand side, and you can rename it. Because when you start a project, it may not have the right name, or you may not understand what it is when you go back. But if you rename it, it allows you to see everything. Like I did at the end of the year, a BOGO sale, images. I have one just for creating images. I have one for my Story Stars program. So you can create all different projects and then you just name them in a
I
way.
didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice it created a folder.
Well, it doesn't create a folder.
Okay.
Folder is something different. That's in the paid version. It will allow you to create.
I mean, a thread or whatever you're calling it.
On
I
the
didn't know
left-hand-
it even had it there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And
Great.
as
That's
you
cool.
continue to use it, you're going to have a lot of stuff. And so you can go and delete things you don't need anymore. Yeah. Like I have, this one is just recrafting email. So if I have an email that I want to send and I ask, say, can you massage it and make it better? It's just this whole thread is just GPT helping me fix wording on certain things. So it's fun. There's so many things you can do with it.
I'm getting the ideas. I can't write them down fast enough.
I know, it's crazy.
I have a question, Christy.
ma'am.
If you don't have the paid version, what does it look like? So do you still create and rename it?
This is this right now, what you're seeing in my GPT is the free version.
Okay, so then I can create this and rename it
Yep,
and save it.
yep, yep.
And how many does it give you too much data and you have to delete? Like I do a newsletter every week.
No, it's fine. Yep.
Okay.
So from what I understand, now it always changes. The 3.0, the free version tends to be faster. So there's times that I go back and use the free version because it's faster. The benefit of having the paid version is it allows you to use plugins. It allows you to use extra things to do different things like images and folders and using other people's GPTs like my Brandi, a Story Authority creator. So I didn't use the paid version until about 2 months ago when I created her because I didn't need it before. So if you don't need it, just keep using the free version.
Okay.
So we'll go back to the free version.
You said it was $20 a month.
$20 a month. Yeah. Not bad. Okay. So let's go back to the super prompt. So now we're in scene 3, your light bulb moment. Now, keep in mind, this is only 5% of your story, so it doesn't have to be super long, but I'm sure that you had an aha moment, something when you realized things needed to change. So put in blue anything that you can remember about your light bulb moment. And for a lot of these sections, I put extra notes. So it says, be sure to highlight a specific turning point that pushed you to take action. How did you make this choice? This could be a significant event, an inspiring conversation, or a moment of clarity. Explore the emotions you felt during this moment. Did it bring clarity, relief, inspiration, or any other strong feelings? What thoughts, beliefs, or perspectives changed as a result of this moment? Like I'm trying to give you some ideas, some notes to help like stir different thought processes to fill in this information. Scene 4. What moved me through the pain. This is the scene where you start highlighting your qualifications. If you have any degrees, if you have any certifications, I know a lot of when I share my story, I talk about the fact that, you know, I've spent how much money on courses and programs, and I've read hundreds of books, and you know, I've got this certification, and I'm a John Maxwell coach. Like I go over a lot of my qualifications because it's really important to give yourself those credentials and let your reader understand a little bit more about you and why you're the expert that you are. So any resources that you can share, and again, this is only 10% of your story. And then the next section is your journey through the weeds, and that are the struggles that you faced. And you want to highlight as many of those as you can, the obstacles, the setbacks, the failures, and what you learned from them. Anything that has to do with the difficulties your ideal client is going through right now, or maybe going through in the future. One of the things that I've heard over and over again, and I don't know who originally said it, but if you can explain your ideal client's struggles better than they can, if you can put it into words, and if you can describe it better than they can, they know they're going through a struggle, but if you can tell them in a way that is more detailed and more complete, they're going to really, really resonate with that. So if you can describe your client's journeys better, struggles better than they can, they're going to be all over you trying to help them. Well, first of all, I want to like congratulate you guys all for sticking around, right? This has been, I know, a lot of information, but you guys are tough. You're hanging on. I know a couple people said they're going to watch the replay, but I know this is a lot, and I definitely am here to help you. I'm going to let you continue to work here a little bit.
Christie, I got a quick question for you, just in terms of this document is great now that I understand the yellow, the blue, and the white.
I know.
What you just said is brilliant. I can type that in the white section
Mhm.
now to remind myself later. I can put my own prompts to improve this document
Mhm.
for me,
Totally.
as long as it's in the white text. Those are like stage whispers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and
Okay.
this is basically
Just wanna
your
understand that.
document to keep building on and making it better and adding to it, right? I just didn't want you to go from the prompt document to a blank document and have like 3 documents going all at once. So I thought it's easier just to take that data, throw it all in here. And then however, you may want to make another copy and then get rid of all the prompts and then just have your story, right? Get rid of everything else and now have another copy that's just your story so you can keep massaging it. Whatever is easiest for you. Carla, you have the same thing I have going on with the light from the blinds. It's like you move everything around and then it just follows you. Guys are all working. I can see the smoke coming out of your ears. It's awesome. I tell you, the first time I did one of these workshops where it's all working with GPT, I was like, what is going on? It's a lot. It's overwhelming, especially when this is all new to you. But the more you use it and the more you use your assistant, and it just keeps getting better and better, you're going to find an endless opportunity of ways that you can utilize. I have a whole process of creating an amazing offer from start to finish with all the marketing, everything. So I'm actually looking to do a workshop around that shortly, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, the
Yeah.
power that this has.
Christy, this is amazing. It really is. I am so grateful.
Yeah.
I haven't been in the chat GPT because if I was going back and forth, I'd be totally lost. But watching you, that's how I learn. And so I'm going to be able to go back and do this, I think, relatively easily.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like if somebody just gave me the first couple sentences, I'm on a roll.
Right.
So having an assistant like this that can get me oiled up and rolling there with what I want to say is incredible.
I'm
Thank
with
you.
you. I'm the same way. You know, we're all very capable, but we're not always in the right creative headspace. And if we have something like this to help us, it like creates amazingness in our brains, I find. And if anybody has a business where they're in the stage of needing marketing and content creation, I can't recommend Molly Mahoney's program enough. And it every month in her membership, it's like $97 a month, I think. But every month in her 2-hour workshop, she walks you through step-by-step the process of creating a month's worth of content to then auto schedule and have it spit out. It's like, so she's brilliant. If anybody wants information about her program, I would be happy to share it. But she's like kind of been my master at learning a lot of this chat GPT stuff. And she's all about amazing marketing strategies. Yes, Sherry?
I've been following her recently a little bit. Does she give you the tools to where it's, like you said, set it and forget it?
So she teaches you how to, really quick, I don't want to get into this a lot, but she'll has prompts to write your whole month's worth of one-liners, questions, long, short posts, short form posts, videos, like everything. You basically get this massive chart of data. And then she teaches you how to you can export. You know that you can take a spreadsheet, a CVS file, import it into Canva, and in one click, Canva will create like 30 images for you.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So she teaches you how to do that. And then she teaches you how to use a tool called Metricool to then import that and then schedule it in all the platforms.
What was her name?
Molly Mahoney, I'll be happy to share her link. I actually
Put
have
it in
an
the chat if you don't
I
mind.
have an affiliate link. I will update the super
Oh,
prompt.
okay.
So on the bottom of the super prompt document, I will add Molly's affiliate link. And I think she's not giving the 2 weeks free anymore. I think my link will give you 2 weeks free in her program, I hope. If not, I'll be seeing her on the cruise on Saturday, so I'll ask if I can have another free trial.
Fine.
I will keep you guys all updated on that. Okay, so let's continue on. I know we only have 5 more minutes, and I just want to like buzz through the end of this. It's really basically wash, rinse, and repeat with the rest of the prompts. Journey through the weeds, dragon strategies. These are the tips, steps, resources, whatever it is that you already defined in our work earlier. What are the pieces that you need to give your reader to not only inspire them, but equip them to take steps forward in their life? And then scene 7 is the dream life. So you just fill in these blue sections, and you can see here in the red, use the strategies defined in the second prompt of step 4. And then in the lead magnet, use that information. Then you add all of that data to the same thread. You get the results back from it. And I'm hoping you guys didn't like do all of this into the system, because you want to make sure that you give it enough data to give you the best results. So this is going to be some post work for you. But then you just kind of put all that information on this document, and then you continue on. So I've added a few more things on here for you to work on your own. I've got a link for resources. I will, actually, yeah, I should have Molly's information on the resource page. I don't, but either way, I'll make sure you get Molly's information. Step 6 is different ways you can use your story. So once you've done all of this work, you've got all of the stages done, the scenes done. Now you can go back and say, hey, thanks, Brandi. Everything that came together perfectly. I can't wait to share my story. Now I need a few supporting details to go with my story. Based on the story recrafted, please write me a 100-word description of my story. And now it's going to give you a short description. Now give it keywords. You're going to ask for keywords. It's going to go into your story, and based on its understanding of marketing, it's going to pull out powerful keywords for you. You're going to want quotes, because every time you speak, every time you're out there, you're marketing, you need powerful quotes. And it's going to pull some out. And then it even says, pull out, based on the story recrafted, can you please pull out 3 one-liner quotes from my story that I can use to inspire others? Perfect. Are there more? So you wanted to pull out anything that you can. You can even ask it, and I could maybe add this on here. Can you maybe write a few quotes that I can incorporate into my story? Heck, why not, right? Why not add more quotes, more one-liners, or as Matt would say, bumper sticker phrases, and that will make your story more powerful and allows you to kind of basically make your story and your business brand more viral the more you use your specific quotes and one-liners. Oh, wait. Oh, quotes. Okay, my quote. This should be one-liners. There we go. And so you're going to do the same thing with quotes and one-liners and website. You're going to want it to create. So now in my book project, we have Lori Lyons, who is an expert web designer. She's going to do a whole presentation for our clients on web, what needs to be on a website and all of that stuff. So one of the things she said is, on your website, you need to have your story, and you want to have a story summary on the home page of your website, about 100 words, really short. You can use it on your home page. You can use it on your sales pages. I know that my sales pages, when you signed up for this initially, down the bottom, there was a short summary of my story. But it's really important to have something that is a summary that you can use in that type of a setting. And so you can ask it to create that, and your about page. On your website, the second most visited page on your website is your about page. So you want to make sure you have an about page and it is your story. People want to know who you are. They don't care about your products and service. They care about who you are and how you're different than your competition and how you as a person can help them with them becoming a better person. So use that to,
That would make a great script for a video on your about page.
yeah, absolutely. There's so much you can do here. And then if you need help bringing your story to life, I know on here, if you can, I'm going to put, let's see. I think Brandi fell asleep. Brandi, are you there? Here's the special offer that I mentioned earlier. I'm going to put that on the bottom of the workshop on the story prompt page. And if you want to join and be one of the last 14 remaining people to be in our next book project, it is Mastery Unleashed, Stories and Strategies to Fuel the Success of Our Readers. Please join us. It's only $8.95 to just get started. And if you want more, great. If not, that's fine. Love to be able to work with you, help you on a more personal basis, refine your story, and get it in front of as many eyeballs as possible. All right, it's 3 o'clock. Does anybody have any questions?
Quickie, you just added that to your version of the document, but we don't get that, right? Unless we
No,
download
okay.
it again.
Good point. So you have your working version, but you also have the original version link somewhere. So you can go back there and get any other information.
Grab it.
Plus, you're going to get a recap email with the replay, and all of that information is going to be on that.
Christie, is this a single class or is there more than one class to this? Because you sent me a calendar link, but all it did was take me to my calendar and I wasn't able to open that other link. It said no information.
This was a single workshop.
Perfect. Thank you.
Then join the book project.
Sounds fantastic.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
setting that up, Sue.
Really great, Christie. Just overwhelming, but great.
I know. And
Lots
honestly,
of
I would
stuff.
love to be able to work with you guys. If not the book project, my coaching program is designed to make sure that you don't pay for no results anymore. So my story right now is the fact that I spent $129,000 in the last 8 years on coaches to help me build a personal brand business. And it's been a long journey, but I had a lot of difficulties along the way, made a lot of mistakes, and of course, spend a ton of money. And so my program is a pay-per results framework, I guess you want to say. It's a pay-per results model that you pay to get in the program, but you don't pay me anymore until I help you meet your revenue milestones. And the first revenue milestone is 25K. So my goal is to get you to 25K as soon as possible with your signature program, launching it as a beta and getting it filled and getting it up leveled and getting your whole customer journey mapped out and getting a membership going right away to get the money flowing on a consistent basis. So if you have any support around that, I'd love to be able to help you. And we use AI for all of this now. It's great.
I have a question.
Yes,
So
please.
the $8.95 is for coaching on our story.
Coaching on your story and the legacy version of a package. Yes.
And is that in the book, included with the book?
You get in the book. Yep. I help you. You'll get a couple coaching sessions with me to make sure you have clarity around your story. And then we have twice a month group coaching calls where you can connect with the other authors, and you have a chapter in the book for sure. Absolutely. And you'll be a best-selling author.
Okay. How many are in the book so far?
I've got 6. I'm just getting started.
And what's the capacity? How many
20-ish, 20 to 25. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm excited.
And
Thank
when did
you.
you say that'll publish? When
About
it's your
June.
goal for that to publish?
About June. Yeah.
Oh.
June-ish.
Christie, I'm curious, is Brandi bought like a plugin through Zoom, or like, how did you do that?
It's my daughter.
Oh, okay.
She's my little, she's my business partner. So she is the publishing whiz. So she does all of our project management and publishing. And I've taught her a lot, and she's gone on to learn more than I've ever taught her. So she's awesome.
That's a beautiful story.
It is. Yeah.
Christie,
Yes, ma'am.
are you still booking VIP calls?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Just follow your link to the calendar.
Yeah. 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 I'll have, so you guys will all get a follow-up email with the recap page. It's going to have the replay. I'll make sure Molly's information is on there, the VIP call if you want to book that and get that. And if you want to join the project, everything will be hopefully on that if I don't forget something, but I have like my little notes here. Any other questions?
This was fantastic.
You know
Thank
what, guys, either way,
Really.
if you don't join the project, I still keep in touch with me. I like however I can support you. I am launching in about a month our Prospect Conversion Machine Club that is going to be monthly calls on helping you create all of the assets to bring your clients from cold to sold. We've got it launched very messy and very warm so far. But we've got a lot of great plans to get that up and rolling and be able to utilize AI in a lot of different marketing strategies. And your story, like however I can support you, I'm here.
When do you need to hear about the book?
Well, when it fills up, it fills up. So
Right.
I'm hoping to get, like, my daughter is going to be doing a lot of follow-up next week. So I'm really hoping to get all of our 20 spots filled by the time I get back from the cruise because I've got 3 people on the cruise too that want to join us. So I'm hoping to get like all of these spots filled within the next 2 or 3 weeks. But the special is only good for, I think,
The
it's on the
weekend.
page. Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple days.
Okay.
Well, I look
And
forward.
if we want to upgrade later, then that just goes towards it.
Yeah.
Right?
So basically what happens is you get in, and then the
Mhm.
next step is to schedule a call. And then we get on that first hour call. It's all about strategy. It's all about all of that. And if you decide you want to upgrade, then you get 2 more calls. And then we just keep working together. And of course, you'll be in the group calls. And then we'll be able to talk about the 2 upgrade options and what you feel is a good fit. The platinum one is the one that I am giving the major deal. It's like $1,000 discount because it's giving you that extra second book. And what's great about having the second book is you've got your own ISBN number and it's your book. All of those sales go directly to you. It's on your Amazon account. It's great. Plus you've got this book. So you have 2 books all of a sudden now. You got it will be Mastery Unleashed. And then you'll have this book that's the title of your story. And then you'll have 2 books on Amazon, which will like get you like up and running right away.
I have to tell you, when I met you in, where were we, Michigan?
Yeah.
You intimidated me incredibly.
I'm an introvert. People are like, I'm not good with people.
I don't feel that way anymore. That's what I wanted to tell
I'm
you.
good in the computer screen because like I'm able to keep my energy. But if you put me in a room with people, I tend to kind of be like this. And it's not, I'm not good in a, unless I have a glass of wine and then I'm good. But thank you, Sue, because I tend to sometimes not connect with people. I don't connect with people well until they get to know me, and then it's a different story. So
That says something about you too.
well, Gail, we've known each other for gosh, 30
years,
yeah.
maybe 30.
So I have had actually December.
Yeah, your DuPage group.
Yeah.
DuPage.
Well,
Yeah.
it was national. We had chapters everywhere. I still have 2 chapters, but I ended up by closing it down the end of December, this like 3 days ago. But Gail was one of our speakers. So she came in and spoke to our community. I think you even did one with the chamber. You did a couple with the chamber when I was the
But that was before you had chapters. That's how far back it was.
Yeah.
It was DuPage Professional Women Network.
It started as DuPage, yeah. So that was 22 years ago, yeah. And then the chamber was
how long I've been
before.
in business.
I know.
So
Yes.
that's how long I know you. And I saw you in person in a room and you were fine. Maybe
Well,
you've
yeah, if I
become
know
more
people-
introverted.
If I know people, but when I did the thing with Sue, I didn't know anybody. It was like all strangers, stranger dangers. And we had to learn how to speak, which made it even worse. I didn't want to be there. Like I knew I needed to be there, but I didn't want to get on a stage and speak. Oh,
You're great.
so it was, yeah, it worked.
Wow,
It turned
this
out
is
fine.
great.
But thanks, Gary. So I'm here to support you, and I give you a lot of credit for sticking to the end because I know it was a lot. So
I have another call in an hour, so I'm gonna run. Thank you so much.
my dog is down
To
here.
be with everyone. Thank you, Christy. Happy New Year
Thank
to
you, Christy,
everybody.
so
Lots of
much.
dreams are on their
Thank you.
way now.
It was great.
All right. Bye, Christy.
Take care.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Bye.
But Jane and
Thank you,
Carla,
Marie.
like
Yeah.
whatever, let's schedule a call. And I got I'm gonna send you, I was gonna send you a voicemail, but I've got the schedule all figured out for our call. So is
Okay,
it okay to send you a text with the schedule so you know?
Yeah, that would
Sure.
be great.
that'd be great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
right.
Thanks.
you so
Great
much.
work.
Take care.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hey, are you gonna, Christy, is it all right if I stay on to ask you a question
Sure.
after everyone logs out?
I'm hanging
Okay.
out. And then anybody that's not here.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thanks, Vicky.
Bye.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.
us.